What's going on? Welcome to Expeditiously, man. I'm your host, Tip T.I. Harris. Here we have discussions that are relevant to the culture, and we have them with people who are relevant to the discussion. My guest today is Kevin Samuels. Thank you so much for being here, brother. He's an image consultant and a relationship expert coach, okay? He hosts a YouTube channel that has garnered over 36 million views with, just a fraction of the subscribers. How many subscribers you got?
Currently, like 335,000, something like that.
335,000, yet over 36 million views. That's an awesome ratio if anybody doesn't know it. He started his company, Life and Style by Kevin Samuels, to help others realize their true potential, both professionally and socially. His company's services include personal shopping, private styling, personal and corporate image consulting, brand integration, wardrobe styling, and media and job interview coaching for clients, including recording artists, entrepreneurs, job seekers, anyone wanting to improve their image. Kevin graduated from the University of Oklahoma with a chemical engineering degree and is now based in Atlanta. Damn. Hey, man, somebody let Hitch hit a joint.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, so what gave you the idea to create the concept of image consulting?
When I was running my boutique advertising agency, part of one of the PR I was doing with a client was an attorney, and they were about to have to pull about 30% of my company's revenue because she had been put up for a judgeship. And I'm sitting there with this woman, and she's like, "Hey, you've been good for me, but I got to go interview with the governor. I'm one of 4 potential candidates, but I dress like a little Oompa Loompa. I don't know how to do this." I'm sitting there thinking about all the money I'm going to lose. She said, but you always dress so nice. Is that something you can do? And brothers are like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, I can do that because I've helped people shop before.
Okay, but this was a lady.
This was a woman. This was a woman, but women in my life, I've always been a stylish guy.
Right on.
And I always help my girlfriends, whatever, that would look better than this, such and so forth.
I dress my woman too.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I went and checked and I said, what is it called when you do this? And it said image consultant. So I said, well, what does it take to be an image consultant? One thing led to another, and I decided me and my partner broke up our advertising agency, and I decided to become an image consultant.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I got into this thing, styling men and women, corporate and professional. And that's kind of what led me to YouTube and everything else.
Okay, amazing. So where did relation expert coach come from? Relationship expert coach.
That came from, man, I've always been in the mix on relationships. In the 80s when Shahrazad Ali's Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman came out, it was hot on college campuses. We would all get together where the frat parties would happen. You'd have men and women talking about relationships. And because I'm so passionate about this subject, I would always be helping to lead the discussions. Back in the late 90s when all the poetry slams and Love Jones and all that was going on, we had all these things going on. Right. Relationships, conferences, and
seminars. It was a dialogue.
It was always a dialogue.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in it. And when I was at church, I found myself over the singles ministries because, I come from a single mother.
Right.
My father was not in our life. He had a lot of kids. And I saw the impact of not having a father or what lack of relationships are doing in my neighborhood. So I was always fascinated on what I considered was broken or missing. So how I got here is, let's say you came in as a client. You were like, man, I'm trying to look better for personally and professionally. I want to move up the ladder, this or that. Inevitably, you still got to go out into life. Right. And what so many of my clients were saying is, look, man, I'm looking better, moving better, behaving better, looking better online, but I'm not seeing any women out here on my new level. And I'm starting
your new level. So he already, understood that he had leveled himself up. And he wasn't meeting, but why was it that women on that level wasn't recognizing him in the same light?
Well, see, guys have always been told, I don't want no scrubs, you got to do better, ain't nothing going on with the rent.
No romance.
No romance.
No finance.
So dudes have always been hip to the fact that we need to improve, but coincidentally, when I'd have women come in, I noticed that many of my female clients were more problematic.
Now, what made them problematic? Now, why do you say that? Because it's very important that you put some context on that, especially when referring to black women.
All right, what made them problematic is, one, the expectations for what I, as a mere mortal, could produce as an image consultant. I can help you look better, but I can't find you Boaz. And you thought you was going to pay for an hour of consulting. I'm supposed to restyle you from head to toe and find you a husband, all for the low price of $59.99. No, I can't do that.
Okay.
So what I noticed is in my environment when I was in corporate America, and a lot of stuff informed this because I was one of the.
So you say women had more pie in the sky?
Well, they had more unrealistic expectations. And they were frustrated because many women would come to me, saying, I can't find a man on my level, so a lot of these women thought if I improve my image, maybe I can expand my dating pool. And I'm noticing that men and women are having very different expectations and outcomes.
What about the men that came in? Like, what were their expectations? You know what I mean? Like what were they hoping to achieve?
Most guys were hoping to have better luck with women. They were like, I can't attract the kind of woman that I think I want because in order to have an image consultant, you got to pay me.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Have you ever thought about just, quite frankly, linking up some of your male clients with your female clients and seeing how they might hit it off?
I thought about it, man, but that would have been a recipe for disaster. Let me tell you why it was a recipe for disaster. Okay. Because you can only build bricks with the straw you have. And and I'm sorry, man, I know popular relationship coaches, image consultants, and they were all saying the same thing, that women are not really taking care of their fitness like they used to, but you want to design of this and
no, that's not necessarily true. It's some women, I feel like human beings, you have some that, take care of themselves, you have others that kind of, you know what I'm saying, I guess they succumb to their desires and their laziness.
Well,
or their comfort of doing nothing. That's not gender specific, in my opinion. I know cats that work out every day, men and women. I know cats that don't work out at all, men and women.
Well, the difference is, though, the difference is always going to be that there's always going to be anecdotal and nuance, but in general, in our community, we have seen a problem with weight. I mean, if you go back to look at what happened with Spelman in 2012, they removed all athletics, all the funding for athletics, to focus on taking that money to help the student body get in better shape, because they were noticing that incoming freshmen were overweight and obese. So, and it's a conversation, it's an uncomfortable conversation, and things that are uncomfortable we tend to shy away from. But here's the thing. When it gets right down to relationships, men want something, women want something. Men are visual. And if a man is going out here to kill the dragon, such and so forth, he wants what he considers to be an ample prize. And a lot of guys will come back saying, I'm having a hard time finding that kind of prize. And I started noticing this over and over again. Now, women were saying, I'm trying to have a hard time finding men that are on this level. And these guys are making themselves more visible, but they're not finding the women. So I started talking about this stuff on YouTube, stuff that I would hear from my clients. And initially I started talking to men. For 3 years, I talked to men. For 3 years on my YouTube channel, it was a conversation about men, about getting your level up, getting out here. I don't want to hear you broke and you're only working 40 hours a week.
Right. I
don't want to hear you talk about you on a dime piece and you got pennies in your pocket.
Right.
And you want to be the boss of the place and you ain't paying all the bills. You want to move up the ladder, but you don't want to play the quote unquote game. You don't want to, there is an art to all this. So, and that got pushed back from men. I got pushed back from men, but more men would understand that I need to do something different to get a different outcome. But when I started taking the tack and talking to women, that's when basically the match that lit the fuse. The conversation with women, even the same factual information I'm talking with men about, even though it's hard to hear, not necessarily comfortable, I got a markedly different response from women. It was like, no, that can't be, it's not it. So we started having conversations that we've had in the barbershop, on the basketball court, in church, everywhere. We start bringing them to YouTube to have them.
Okay.
And that's and several things happen. One, many people talking to women today are coming at it from a woman's standpoint. I don't want to mention people's names, but you got people who've written books, people who have weekly seminars, and there'll be 900, 1,000 women. And the only men here are the men on the other side of the camera on stage. Well, that's a problem, man, because them women coming out and there are no men. But I'm talking to all the men, and I'm realizing that what these guys are saying or what these women are saying and what these women are hearing ain't what these guys are saying they want. So I started talking about what these guys want, and women were kind of shocked.
Damn.
That's just really what happened. They were shocked.
Okay, I've seen a few of your show, man, and you know, you everything you say is based in logic, you know, and you know, some opinion. But why is it so abrasive? Why does it seem so harsh? Because that's what they call you.
Yeah.
Or mean.
Well, like I said, if I was Gordon Ramsay, I could be a multimillionaire and have multiple spinoffs. I'd be praised for it. If I was Simon Cowell, I would make American Idol.
Or Howard
Stern. We're not used to black men speaking passionately, directly, factually, and standing on their square. So the very same truths, you want to get there, honestly. If I were not a black man, I probably wouldn't be getting the pushback I'm getting because what I'm saying is not verifiable. And it's not observable. It's just that, how dare you say that?
Damn.
And I have shows where I've talked in the most nice, positive ways, and it's still never going to be enough for some people.
Well, you never seem angry. You never seem like vile or you know, even disrespectful. It's just direct opposition to the woman and kind of introducing her to the need to change things about her that she may feel someone should accept.
And here's the thing. What I tell people is, you don't have to do anything, but the world doesn't owe you understanding. You don't need to change a thing. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot expect people just to say, come as I am, because we wouldn't expect it from men.
Right. Well, you have to prepare yourself for what it is you say you're looking for.
And most women aren't even curious about men.
What do you mean?
Okay. Ask a woman what she wants from a man, and she'll give you a thesaurus, a list, an encyclopedia. Ask what she brings to the table, and you can't even write it on the back of a stamp.
Man, God.
Because honestly,
hey, bro. Look, see what Single Dina bring to the table.
Thank you.
You see what Single Dina bring to the table. Single Dina brought a drink to the table.
Hi, Single Dina. See,
we'll be speaking to you a little later, Single Dina.
See,
okay.
Here's what is going on. Because of the lack of so many functional, happy relationships in the black community, we don't see it modeled. So we don't see. Last people we saw was Mama, Big Mama, and Pawpaw. Most of us didn't have Mama and Daddy.
Right. So
we see situationships and that kind of stuff. So we see rom-coms. We see, we grew up with 80s R&B,
90s R&B.
90s, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, when I'm going to give you all this and I'm going to give you the moon this. And it's like, all right, but what was the woman's part in all that? It was never...
Well, they had Superwoman, you know what I mean? Karen White.
But she said, I'm not your Superwoman. She didn't... They said, ain't nothing going on but the rent, but I'm not your... See, women have always been vocal about what they won't accept.
You know what, man? My good buddy's... good Pastor Duval, Lil Duval. He said something earlier today.
Right.
Actually, he posted it, and it blew my mind. It was very simple. However, it was concise and very true. He says, women go from, why don't you just plan it for us, to, all we ever do is what you want to do so fast.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm like, whoa. They're like, and then I called him to discuss it with him. He said, yeah, man, I went through that with my old lady. Listen, at first, it was why they want you to take charge.
Mm-hmm.
They want someone who they can trust that they know will take charge and take matters into their own hand. They want us to plan everything for them to where they ain't got to worry about it. And then, some kind of way, without you even knowing, their expectations shift to where they don't want you to plan anymore.
Right.
They don't want you to take charge because now you're controlling them.
I would almost guarantee you. I said earlier that single women keep women single.
Ooh.
Because
Single Dana, did you hear that? Single Dana, did you hear that? Good night.
Because it's all throughout our culture.
Take your time, Reverend.
It's all throughout our culture. Go back to En Vogue when they had that little lead in. What's going on, girl? It's so and so. You should just leave him. You shouldn't put up with it. There ain't no man worth all that. Ding dong. Oh, I gotta go. That's Kevin. See, when the woman got a man, it's always the single friends that tend to be on the outside telling that what you should and should not accept. But you ask her,
tell my wife to come in here.
Where's your wedding ring and your husband?
Get my wife in here. Get my damn wife in here.
So,
where is she? Yes, please. Okay.
So you get women who at the 1 minute, I love him because he does everything, but you got a woman in there. Yeah, he's trying to control. Girl, that's what this is. Oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's narcissistic. Like,
I just told my woman and her friend the same thing. And my old lady's friend, she said that isn't always true. And I say, listen, men genuinely don't like their wives, fiancés, or girlfriends, friends, because they're usually coming in trying to tell your wife everything to do to take their mind off of not having a man themselves.
Well, first thing, what I do when I talk to women, I remove this not all. It's called NOWALT. Not all women are like that. I'm like, yeah, if we're going to have a conversation about general stuff, we can't go down the it's not always, it's not this, because that's a deflection tactic many women try to use. I got a lot of little buzzwords I use to make the conversation single.
Okay.
And then one of the biggest ones is called sign language.
Okay.
Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. It's like plays that used to work in Tecmo Bowl. Cap Boso over the middle, Bo Jackson for the win. These things tend to work to get conversations thrown off because what you're honestly saying is, look, I got a married situation, you got a single situation. Don't bring your single ideas into my married house.
That's right.
Well, not all. I was like, well, then you go talk to them not all over there. I'll come back when you got a husband and some years in this thing.
It goes. I mean, the man has landmines of logic and insight here. It goes back to the joke that Eddie Murphy told at Raw. He said, "Man, I have to go to Africa and find me somebody in the bush and who doesn't know anything about it, but then I can't bring her back to America because then people gonna be in there saying, girl, do you know what you should have? Do you know what you could do? Do you know, is he doing this? Is he doing that? You should get half." You know what I mean? Not speaking in reference to whether or not a woman deserves half, because I think that, a woman contributes something to a man that, is immeasurable. But the concept or the perspective that a woman who doesn't have a man telling a woman with a man what she should be doing about her man, it just escapes me.
Well,
because it doesn't happen for men.
Well, it's because women care, and many women are going to hate that I say it. Women care more about the opinion of their friends than they do about men. This is why, if you're familiar with like cult leaders or what was his name? Helter Skelter.
Okay.
Charles Manson.
Okay.
Charles Manson was able to control those women simply because he wasn't a good-looking dude.
Right.
He was a skinny little weirdo. But what he did is he had all these women, and let's just say she got out of line. He'd say, "I'm gonna throw you out."
Right.
"I'm going to throw you out," and the woman would be losing her girlfriends or friends.
Uh-huh.
So he would use the opinion of the group to control the women.
Mm.
And that's what, I mean, because I was saying it out here earlier.
What did you say exactly? Was it?
Well, what it was single Dina and her best friend.
Okay.
And they're like, well, help us get this and help us get them trying to find me. And I said, okay, cool. I bring you one man to pitch your criteria and her criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Only one. Are you ready to compete with her?
Ooh.
And it came back to, no, I think you can go find another one. And see, men understand that if I put that one woman between this, you could be my homeboy since this
right.
big.
We're going to let her decide.
We're going to fight it out. And whoever she
we gonna figure it out. I mean, we ain't gonna fight it out, but I mean,
yeah, but she gonna pick.
I'm gonna present myself. You present yourself. You let her decide.
And when she pick, you're gonna be like, you got it. But we gonna be good with each other.
Right.
They're not. And that's the thing. Men will accept what our partners think. You can tell men, hey man, I think this or that. A man's gonna take it into consideration, and then he's gonna do what he's gonna do. Women really tend to care about what the group thinks because they're the social of the group. That's how they're wired, man. And unfortunately, the things that used to keep families together are tearing them apart together today because we don't have foundational things like we used to have.
Now, let me ask you this. How do you come up with, the rating system? Your infamous rating scale of 1 to 10. How does it work, okay? What does it consider and encompass? How did you come up with it?
Well,
and is it accurate?
It's accurate enough. Here's the thing. And here's the thing. And seriously, back in the day, there was a movie called 10 with Bo Derek.
Okay.
Now, I didn't think Bo Derek was a 10, but there were enough movie-going men who thought she was a 10 to buy tickets. We've always had this 1 to 10 dating system. The late comedian Patrice O'Neal used to say we should have it from 0 to 30. There's always a number. Just like a credit rating,
right?
Amount of gas, there's always a number. And whether we like to admit it or not, beauty is both subjective and objective. Mm-hmm. There's an objective standard of beauty based upon the Fibonacci sequence, the golden sequence, the spiral. So if you look at people that are viewed as attractive worldwide, even what babies will respond to, they tend to have symmetrical facial proportions, and it's based on spiraling out. It's mathematical. So I look at women based in 2 categories, your face and then your physique. You ask about the rating, and as an image consultant, or even if you go to Hollywood, if you go to a modeling agency, there's a rating.
Okay.
If you've ever gone to a modeling cattle call, the people think
cattle call.
It's called a cattle call, meaning come on, everybody come in. You don't necessarily need an agent.
It's not a casting call.
Casting call, cattle call.
They actually call it a cattle call.
I've heard it called both.
Damn.
See, the thing is, a casting call tends to be like, from what I understand, is people who may have agents. Mm-hmm. But think about like Charlize Theron. Okay. She was discovered arguing with a teller in Bank of America. So oftentimes they will just say, we're looking for beautiful women in the area. Come out to, it's called a cattle call. And that's one thing with the public. But let's say people who are represented by an agency. That agency is going to rate you. Right. They got to have a headshot. And depending on what you're doing, like Victoria's Secret, you better believe that those women have to strip down to their underwear and be critiqued. Head to toe, up. Think about Boomerang. Oh, she was bad, man, but Hammer Time canceled her, right, because of her toe.
For bad feet.
But the thing is, and to act like this doesn't exist.
It does.
It's real. So the facial thing is based upon.
You can fix your butt. You can fix your face. You can't fix them feet. You cannot fix them feet. You got what God gave you, and that's all you're going to have till you leave here.
And the thing with the face, it's, you think about like people always has the most attractive man, attractive woman. I try to use, in the back in the day, I used people that weren't current, so it wouldn't be so volatile. So I would say like Pam Grier. Mm-hmm. Amazing body. Mm-hmm. It was a dress size 8, by the way, with all them curves. 8.
Still fine.
And I said, her, I said she's an 8. There are brothers who will knock me down and say, no, she's a 10. And I'm like, okay. But I'm not judging everything. It's just 2 points: the face and then the body part, and then
The face and the body part. What body part?
the body is body. In order to rank high, you need to have a fitness component. So you can see I have a woman with an attractive face, but if her body's not attractive or is out of shape or needs
But
to
what,
work.
like, let's just say like Lizzo. Lizzo, she's a plus size woman, but she has a beautiful face. She's talented. She's smart. She's, you know what I'm saying? She's
And the fact that we got to sell
charismatic.
and the fact that we got to sell that matters.
What you mean?
We don't do all that
But
shit.
she got such a beautiful personality,
But we
though.
don't judge personality on Miss America until we get to the questions. I mean, and see, the thing is, we grown. We used to know how to do this, and we got this whole PC acceptance. Everybody get a trophy culture, and now, look,
But I think it's somebody out there. See, this is what I think. When people say, you know, like when you say high value men, high value women, I think regardless of your social status or your financial status, it's somebody out here for everybody.
I disagree.
I think that
me tell you
every
why I
soul has a mate.
Let me tell you why I disagree.
It's just that whether or not you will accept the mate that your soul had, you know, paired with it before y'all left wherever we was before we came here. Sometimes your soulmate could be slapping you in your face, but your own idea of what you want for yourself, you're telling the universe what you will and won't have, instead of looking at what the universe has presented to you as yours truly. I think that is more so the problem. There's somebody out here for everybody. We just won't accept it.
Well, I think from the point you're making, I can understand where you're coming from. But from a number standpoint, it don't work. Let's look in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
If every of age marriageable black man married every of age marriageable black woman, there would still be 2 million black women left.
Damn.
Females outnumber males on this planet, so there is not somebody for everybody. That's what I mean. We understand what it should be, but the numbers say no. And here's the other thing. There's somebody for everybody, but the problem is this whole high
Ladies,
value
I'm
men
trying,
thing.
man.
But it's the truth, and this is why the show
I'm
is
trying.
popular. The show is popular because I say, okay, what do you want? You want to be married, you want 2 to 3 kids, you want to not to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant. What percentage of the household income would you like to have to be responsible for? Less than 25%? Okay, how much does a man need to make to support you, a middle class lifestyle, and 2 to 3 kids? And like it or not, that's a very actuarial thing. It's boom, boom, boom. You say, well, then how many men is that? How many men fall into this 6 figures that's been with us since 1985? Less than 200,000 black men fall into this category for 7.5 million black women. But
What
they
you
all
say,
want it.
less than 200,000?
Yes, if you adjust for income.
It's less than 2, not including drug dealers and scammers. I'm sure now.
You're talking
I'm
about
telling you.
married. You're talking about approximate. Okay, 20 million black men, 20 million black women.
Mm-hmm.
You want a man making 6 figures or more. All right, that's 8% of black men. That automatically drops his 20 million to 1.6. If you adjust 1.6 for marrying age, 18 and above, let's just give you half. That means this 1.6 is 800,000. Then you still have to adjust for,
People
marital status
and sexual orientation.
Sexual orientation.
Yeah, I mean.
So even if you just the most liberal associations, half of a half, you're gonna have 200,000 plus or minus. But the point is, you go to black women and say, "What do you want?" Or women, period, because most women want this, but sisters more than anything else have a different mating calculus than most women. Assortative mating. Black women, according to the data, statistics, Match.com.
Right.
See, online dating is giving us a lot of information. Black women rate looks higher than any other group.
Black women rate looks higher.
Looks and height.
Looks and height.
Looks and height, man. So and your money. Show last night. I had a woman. You'd be amazed at how many women would not be willing to accept men who are blue collar, even if they made more money.
What?
Brother, this goes deep. So at the
Is it about the money or is it about the look?
It's about how her friends will perceive her
It's
man.
about how her friends will perceive her man.
It all comes back home.
Ladies,
man.
say this shit ain't so.
Say it ain't so.
Somebody come in here and say this shit ain't so.
So
ladies, please.
I'm a-
single Dina.
How many times have I been in the club and I'm standing next to a guy who's a contractor, and he's out earning all the brothers standing in suits, but the women will laugh at the contractor.
Mm.
And in the black community, I tell women, if you want a good man, the majority of men making over 6 figures got a truck.
Damn. A word truck.
And the dudes that's in the suits got a bill.
Man, it's so much success, though. I mean, I don't know. Where did you get these statistics?
Blackdemographics.com.
God damn, he even had an answer for that. Let me see.
Black statistics for black people by black people. This stuff,
God
black folks are some of the
damn.
most studied people on the planet. Essence, the Time Magazine Corporation in 1954 put out a documentary, How to Sell to the Negro. How to Sell to the Negro. And it was an hour-long scientific breakdown of how to sell to black people's psychology.
Mm.
Go look at it. It's on YouTube right now. And when I was saying about the numbers, 20 million black women, if you adjust for half a marrying age or not, okay, 1 out of 4 will get married. 1 out of 4 will get married. If you have all these women over here, 18 with a high school degree, even with a GED or a PhD, I'm a PhD, all wanting the same kind of man.
Mm.
The numbers won't fit. So this is why you have this whole thing, well, we'll just date out. We'll broaden our dating pool.
What does that mean, broaden your dating pool? Date outside your race?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And the thing is, most groups want to stay inside their group. You're not going to increase your amount of available higher level men by dating out, because that just assumes that your non-black female competitors are going to let you come take their men. They want their men just like you want your black men.
Mm.
The answer is simply this, sisters. Black men want something. You go to the market and you ask the market, what do you want? You don't give them what you think they should have.
Damn.
Any market, right? Any market. And what we're trying to do in our community is we're trying to say, you should take this, and the marital rate is declining. It's dipping. And it's not because men don't want something. Go back to what I said at the beginning. I found that men wanted something. Men wanted to be married with kids, even in this Me Too political environment, still wanted to do it, but they still couldn't find this. And one of the main concerns I heard from men,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you start talking about when it comes to our community, one thing is women were uncooperative.
Mm.
Uncooperative, and then we got to get into the other component. Fit.
Man.
Yeah, don't touch the third rail, but it's true.
But a man could get with a woman and motivate her to do everything she needs to do to become fit, to become cooperative. If a man is, how can you say, motivating a woman properly, I believe, and if that woman is motivating that man properly, I believe we both have the missing components to what the other needs. I think the problem is what we're going out there and looking for is people who are strong in the ways that we are strong.
Okay.
A lot of time, I think that, the idea is for us to accompany each other and fill the void and compensate for the strengths and weaknesses that the other has. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So I think that, that is the issue. I think we are expecting the same things from each other. Like opposites attract, they say that for a reason. If you like to talk, then you need a man who like to listen. You know what I'm saying? If you like to cook, you need a man like to eat. you dig? I feel like if you're good at being organized and doing the bills and handling the money, then you need someone who's, probably more of an extrovert and can, speak for you at parties when you don't want to speak, or, you know what I mean? Y'all need to accompany each other. And I think that's a huge issue for us.
Well, I can hear a lot of that, but what I also think about, you said, how'd you say it? You think a man can motivate a woman to do or be X, Y, Z.
Yes, and vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yes.
But what's missing from that calculus is, let's take it out of relationship. You got excellent credit rating and a lot of money. You're not gonna go buy a car that you got to do repair on when you can buy a Bentley off the lot. Basically, if you have the money and the credit rating to afford a Bentley, you're not gonna go get a car you got to repair. And we've told women that men should accept men who go out here and work 60, 70, 80 hours, putting in the work in the field, in the office, in the studio, trying to get out here to separate themselves from the competition. I don't have time to come on and try to motivate you to take your ass to the gym when you know that's what I want in the first place. Women know men want women that are fit. And women want. This is gonna be tough, man. But y'all sitting back like, yeah, say it, tell the truth, tell it, cause it's true, and they know it's true. And I have so many men of all stripes who are like, thank you for telling the truth. Please tell it, because men have been so coward and so threatened to be canceled and everything else, to where if you're going to say something, you got men shook to even say anything. But at the end of the day, they're not buying. They're not marrying.
Can you explain the catch and the prize?
Yeah. All right. If you've ever seen the TV show The Bachelor, if you ever seen the TV show The Bachelor, where they have an eligible bachelor and they put him before a bunch of different women and they have to compete for his attention, such and so forth. Then they have the Bachelorette. Well, that's good for one person. What I'm using with the catch and the prize is I'm trying to just find single, professional, available men and women to use my platform to put before one another, so we can try to facilitate more couples meeting. Mm-hmm. I mentioned that I have a private Facebook group that I just put together just as an aside and asking people who watch my YouTube channel, and they go ahead and ask to get in the group, and there's some basic questions that you have to answer. And I go through each one of them and just basically pick them, because I believe that after all these conversations and everything else, what I truly believe is one man and one woman can sit down, they can make a deal. Everybody else, I mean, this is fun, the podcast, but when it's going to come down to one-to-one, and there's always a special relationship and agreement that comes between one man and one woman that the rest of the world will never know and understand, nor should they have to.
That's right.
So the catch and the prize.
Because what work for you and yours.
And that's what it's always worked. So this Facebook groups I mentioned, 800 or so men and women. And in under 6 months, there have actually been 8 black couples that have gotten together, and 3 engagements and 1 marriage. So we're being told.
And how long?
In under 6 months.
Under 6 months.
One brother joined in, a successful attorney. The video's on my channel. Brother joined my group reluctantly joined me. He didn't want to join, but I said, come on in and join. He decided to just go ahead and join because he was going to move out of the country. He was done with it. He joined in under a week. He met an Ivy League sister in the group and a woman of his dreams. They're together now. Another brother met a sister. He's here in Atlanta. She's in Boston. Another sister I talked to actually on my YouTube channel, and she was going to go over to Spain. And I said, you should stay here and work it out with your man. These success stories are on my channel. She's like, she went there for a minute, but that seed had been planted. They got engaged on the first. What this basically shows is we hear how hard it is to find a man, how hard it is to find. Really, if a guy who's not a matchmaker or a relationship guru that's been around for the longest, I got no books, none of this. If I can find random people, 800 here, 400 men, 400 women, just ask them basic questions and put them in the same room, nature will find a way.
That's right.
It's no different than the Sadie Hawkins dance. You put the boys and the girls in there, and they're going to be on this side, they're going to be on that side. Let the music play long enough, get the adults out of the way, somebody going to end up dancing.
See, I mean, it's a lot of truth in what you're saying. And they say the truth will set you free, but it's going to piss you off at first. Mm-hmm. You dig what I'm saying? So you say something that's very close to a phrase or a concept that I've, also just kind of tossed around, in my philosophizing. You said women have killed chivalry. Mm-hmm. And what I took it kind of a step further by saying I think that there is no difference in chivalry and chauvinism. The same elements apply.
Well, yeah, because
doing something because you feel like a woman shouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Now, why you feel like that woman shouldn't do it, or the intention or the spirit behind why that woman should do it. Like, hey, let me open that door for you. Women shouldn't do that.
Right.
Hey, let me pull out your chair. Women shouldn't do that. Hey, let me pay this bill. Women shouldn't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Versus, hey, let me get that high-ranking position in the military. Women shouldn't do that. You know, hey, let me get this corner office and CEO position, because women shouldn't do that. So chivalry and chauvinism have the same elements, lots of the same elements. It is the intention and how it is applied that separates them.
Yeah, and human beings know how this works. I mean,
don't assume anything.
well, here's the funny thing, and when I say this, I'm part of Generation X, okay? For thousands of years of recorded history, men and women have pretty much known how to do this. To lesser or varying degrees, but we've had inventions and civilization. We're not farmers anymore or hunter-gatherers. We built buildings, airplanes. We got it figured out. But then along came the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and we came up with all these new ideas of how we should do things. And we used to accept that men and women were different, and that didn't make us less worthy. We're just different. Now we have a world to where it's like, well, we're all the same and we're not the same, and we're trying to reimagine. There are people who want to reimagine how men and women should interact. Here's the problem. That sounds good in a laboratory, in a classroom, but in the world, people just won't accept it. Women want what they want, men want what they want. And here's the calculus that went missing for the longest. Women control access to reproduction and sex. Men control access to relationships. And if men control access to relationships because we're the pursuers, we ask for proposals, if the marital rates are declining, if relationships are dropping, it would be an unwise business to go chastise the customer for why they're not buying. You need to ask, what's wrong with my product?
Now, you said how much ladies hate when the roles are reversed.
Yes.
Now, I want you to speak on that, but I want you to do it in the presence of my dear friend, respected, long-time colleague and constituent, Single Dina. Please come in.
Single Dina, everybody.
Single Dina, please come on. Welcome to Expeditiously. Welcome back to Expeditiously.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now,
So happy to be here.
right on. We're so happy to have you. Now, you've had quite the time to research Mr. Kevin Samuels.
I have. It's been very interesting.
Because listen, so I put Single Dina up on your show, you know, and I told her, I say, hey, find him. We need
He
to
did.
sit down.
Okay.
And ever since then, she's been sending me
Right.
excerpts,
Every night I just get in my bed and I watch these
and
videos.
you watch this man in your bed
what I
alone.
wanna
Just
hear.
tearing into women, just
And
left
you
and right.
Tearing,
No.
but you're coming back. Are you a pain freak? Because if it was painful, you would have no reason to return.
It's interesting. It's a perspective that we don't hear often, and I feel like it's almost like, you know how you hear a lot about like women empowerment? It's like a new male men empowerment kind of thing. He's
Testosterone
speaking
getting
up
to you.
for the men that don't
Yeah.
necessarily get to say these things.
But is it the honesty? Is it that you relate to it? Is it that you agree with it? Is it that you so much disagree with it and you hate it? Like, what is it that keeps you coming back for more?
I think it's a mixture of all of it. I would say that I feel like we could be a little bit more, I've said this to you before, a little bit more, less harsh with our words.
Who,
and
he
our
could
direct,
or
yes,
you could?
No, he could.
He could, but what would that accomplish if he
Well,
was?
that's why people
No.
like it, because he
Nothing.
gets down and dirty real fast.
Well, it's not down.
Why you calling it down and dirty?
See,
I mean,
the words have been used.
direct.
Why can't it be up
Direct.
and
Well,
honest?
well,
you know what I'm saying?
direct,
Why can't
very
it be up and
direct.
honest?
Well, here's the thing. Tear into women, harsh. What would we call ain't nothing going on but the rent? You got to have a JOB if you want to be with me.
When most men lack the exposure to certain opportunities that would yield them the benefits to
Like, I don't want
reach
no scrubs,
such a
right?
standard.
I don't want. The thing
Right.
is, and put a ring on it. Women have had the freedom to speak their minds. directly, honestly, in film, in print, in media, for especially black women, unopposed for the better part of 50 years.
I was gonna say not that long because they were suppressed for a little
I mean,
bit.
Shame,
women-
insults,
hey,
guilt, the need
sure.
to be right.
And this is what I
the
always
correcting
say.
of men all the time.
No, I was
Yeah.
just saying because women for so long did not
Sign
have a
language.
voice.
Sign
Black
language.
women have never been oppressed
Shame,
by black
insults, guilt,
men. I
and
said
need
black
to be
women.
right.
And black women have never had that problem with their men.
Women of color.
I mean, I'm specifically talking about black women in this case, and that's what. Here's the thing: when women say what they want to say about I don't date a short man, you got little D energy. I mean, y'all got
you can say it here, little dick
I
energy.
mean, y'all got. I mean, you
say it
got,
here.
the women are praised for saying it, but when I
Yeah.
actually speak to women who volunteer to call into my show to
Right.
ask me my advice or my opinion,
Right.
then all of a sudden I'm being harsh.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're a friend, and you know, just welcome to the show anytime.
Thanks, man.
We're gonna have a more
Boy.
longevitous discussion about us and how we can
Yeah.
find ways to collaborate.
This has
but
been fun.
a tradition of Expeditiously is the word of the week. Now, Dina has some shit that she wrote down here.
What the
I
heck
think
is
we
this?
use
Do
that
away
other
with
word.
this. I think the word of the week for this particular
not right?
episode. Now, the word of the week
That's good, right?
is always a word that describes the guest or in some way describes the discussion. And the word of the week today is misandry.
Never heard of it.
Misandry.
New one.
Misandry is the hatred for men from women. You know. And
Yeah,
I'm going
this
to
is
use it in
new.
a sentence. So everybody who hears it can go off and they can use it as though they have known it all their lives. But that's what we do here. Okay, here we are. Kevin and I are often labeled as misogynists when in fact we are headed toward an emphatic era of misandry.
Yeah, we damn sure didn't have that. I don't think most women realize they don't like men.
Yeah.
I didn't realize women hated men so much.
Yeah,
This is
because I
crazy.
mean, their experiences, they internalize their trauma,
Or the
from
father,
dealing
or their
with
father.
brother.
Yeah.
A lot of women are
boyfriend,
internalizing
daddy,
stories
uncle.
that they just heard.
That's not even theirs.
Not even theirs. That's what happens
That's
on my
real.
show.
That's real. Misandry.
Wow, I learned something new today.
We are headed toward a time of misandry.
Now I'm headed
And-
towards
and-
Waffle House.
That's right.